Hello, we're looking at Chapter 11, Lesson 2. I'm starting on page 703. We're converting customer units of length. So you can convert, multiply to change between units. And yet again, my cat is jumping up on the... So we're going to change between feet, inches, and yards and miles. And this nice little orange box is going to be something we're going to use over and over again. So pay attention to the orange box. You're going to refer back to it. 1 foot is 12 inches, 1 yard is 3 feet, and 1 mile is a nice round convenient 5,280 feet. That is not even close to rounded and convenient, but that's what it is, 5,280. Okay, so first example. Marla's dog, Corey, loves to jump into water. Corey's longest jump is 7 yards. How many feet are in 7 yards? So what we've got here is a model. Here's the 7 yards that the dog can jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And since we need to convert it to feet, I can see that 1 yard is 3 feet. So in each one of these yards, there are 3 feet. So if I can make a straight line, 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. 1, 2, 3, and 1 here. So this is 3 feet, and each one of these matches 3 feet up here. So in order to find the answer, it would be 3 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 3. And one way to do that is do 7 times 3, which if I count by 3s, I'm going to get 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. So that's going to give me 21. So there are 21 feet in 7 yards. Now I've gone to page 704, just the back. And this is a little bit different. We're converting 3.5 feet to inches. So the first thing I'm going to model on my whiteboard here is 1, 2, 3 feet. And then I'm going to model the half as a triangle, because if I take a rectangle and cut it in half, that'll remind me I'm looking at a half there for that last, because it's 3.5 feet according to the problem. So now I need to find how many inches that is. So I'm going to go back to my orange box on the first page, and it shows me 1 foot is 12 inches. So this box is 12 inches, this box is 12 inches, this box is 12 inches, and this box is going to be half of that. So half of 12 is 6. So this is going to be 6. And I can even model it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If I cut 12 in half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's how I know half of 12 is 6. But the important part is that we've got 3.5, which is 12 and 12 and 12 and 6. So I can either stack them and add them, which you wouldn't want to do if it was something like 72, but when there's only 3, it's not that big a deal. 2, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3. Now that just takes care of these. Now I'm going to add in the 6, 12, 42, so that'll give me 42. If you don't want to add, you can multiply 12 times 3, and then add in the 6, and get 42. Either way, repeated addition is the same as the multiplication. So that's how to convert 3.5 feet to inches. 1 foot is 12 times as long as 1 inch, so 3 times 12 is 36. Half a foot is 6 inches. 36 plus 6 is 42. So there are 42 inches in 3.5 feet. Okay. Now they're giving us a conversion chart. They've given us the feet, and we need to find out how many inches that is. So I can sort of model it by the same way, but instead of doing across, I'm going to do up and down this time. So I'm going to do my rectangles. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I know, according to my table, which I've got here, 1 foot is 12 inches. So this first 1 foot is 12 inches. And then 2 feet is going to be 12 plus 12, which is 24. 3 feet is going to be 3 times 12, or 12 plus 12 plus 12, which is 36, 12, 24, 36. Can you keep going? We've practiced a little tiny bit counting by 12s. 12, 24, 36, 48. And that's how that table should look. Then what they're asking you to do over here is make it into an ordered pair, which is going to be handy when we start graphing these numbers. And the way you do it is you just take the first one, comma, the second one. So 12, comma, 1, 24, comma, 2, 36, comma, 3. And how is that one going to be written? Think about it, think about it. Pause the video if you want. Hopefully you'll see, just following the same pattern, it's going to be 48, 4. Okay. Now the number 2 is a little bit more complicated because we're converting inches to yards. And it hasn't given us on the table that direct conversion. We have yards to feet and then feet to inches. So we need to do a conversion to get even how many inches are in a yard. So if I have 1 foot equals 12 inches and I have 1 yard equals 3 feet. So I'm going to break down 1 yard, 1 yard. That's going to be 3 feet, right? Because 1 yard equals 3 feet. Now each one of these feet is 12 inches. That makes sense? Because I'm doing 3 feet to get to the yard, and I'm doing 12 inches in each foot. So 12 and 12 and 12, 12, 24, 36. So in each 1 yard equals 36 inches. Okay, now that I've got that, 36 inches for 1 yard, I can go back to the problem here and figure out how many yards. So I just said 36 inches is 1 yard, so 36 inches is 1 yard. Okay, now if I'm going to double 36, am I going to get to 108? Let's see. Eleanor, get out of the way. 36 plus 36. 6 plus 6 is 12. 3, 6, 7, that's 2. I'm going to try again. 8. There I go. 1, 2. I've got 1, 2, 3 36s. That got me to 108. So 108 is 3 yards. Now I'm going to double that to get to 216 because 8 and 8 is 16 and 2 and 1 is 2. So that's double that. And let's see, is this doubled also? 6 and 6 is 12. Let's see, 216 times 2. 12, 2, 3, 4. That's too much. Okay, so I got to 216, which is 6 yards, and I need to get to 252. So what am I going to add to 216 to get to 252? Well, if I added another 36, 6 plus 6 is 12, 3, 4, 5, 2. So I got to 252 by adding another 36 inches, which is 1 more yard. So 1 more yard off of 6 is going to be 7. So So this last one will be 7. It's just repeated addition basically to find how many of the 36s I need to get to 108. You can divide, but dividing by 36 is not something we've done before. So I would just keep adding until I got the number and then count how many 36s it took me. That's a better way for us to solve it given what skills we've learned so far this year. So then when I want to write them in my ordered pair, I'm going to put 1 yard, comma, 36, and continue that for all of these. The yards is going to go first, so the smaller, and then the larger is going to be the second in the ordered pair there. Because that's going to help us when we are graphing. Okay, so let's look what we've got here. We've got some more tables, yards to feet, and that is back on that first page. Yards to feet, we're going to convert by multiplying by 3. Yards to inches, that's when you're going to use your 36. So you're going to times by 36 to get from yards to inches. And the thing that's confusing is, why am I multiplying to get a smaller unit of measure? And it actually, in a weird way, makes sense, but it's a hard thing to grasp because you think yards are bigger, so I would multiply to get to yards. Oops. But it's actually the opposite. If I have yards, I have a bigger measurement, so I'm going to have a smaller number. So this is the part that's tricky for everybody to get. It was hard for me to teach 4th graders. It's hard for me to teach 5th graders. The bigger unit is a smaller number. Okay, so if I'm talking about yards, I might be talking about 1 yard, right? The smaller unit, like inches, is going to be a bigger number. So if I need a bigger number, that's when I'm going to multiply. If I need a smaller number, then I would have to divide. So smaller unit, you need a bigger number, so you're going to multiply. So when I'm converting from a big unit like yards to a smaller unit like inches, that's when I'm going to have to multiply. Okay, so if I have 2 yards, like say this is not 1, but say this picture is 2 yards. And I know from my last problem that I did on the table over here, I know that 1 yard is 36 inches. So if I've got 2 yards, I'm going to have 36 here and 36 here. So because I'm converting to inches, I'm going to end up with a bigger number and I'm going to multiply. I'm going to do 36 times 2. And that's going to help me fill in this chart here. And then I'm going to write the ordered pair in the yards. Ugh. And I'm not having fun writing today. Okay, so that's how that, sorry about that. That's a 2. I'm so sorry. Okay, now we're going from feet to inches. Which is bigger, feet or inches? Feet are bigger, inches are smaller. So we're going to a smaller unit, so we're going to need a bigger number, so we're going to have to multiply. We're going to multiply each of these times what? If you don't remember, go back to your table. Feet to inches is 12, so I'm going to multiply each of these by 12. Let's see if I can write 12 today. That's not the answer. That's what you're going to multiply to get the answer. Okay, now over here is different. Here we're going from feet to miles. So this is the opposite. If we have 1 mile, remember our chart over here tells us we have 5,280 feet. So 1 mile is going to be, oh goodness, here we go, 5,280 feet. So then I'm going to need to double that for the next one, 5,280. I'm going to double it here. I'm going to add again and again to find, I'm going to add 5,284 times to get this last row here, last row. And then I'm going to do my ordered pair with my 5,280, comma 1 in this box here. So because this one is we're converting to a bigger unit, we need a smaller number, so we would divide. But I don't want you to have to divide 5,280, so just repeated addition to find these ones here. Okay, 11 feet is how many inches? I'm going to a smaller unit, so I'm going to multiply. 18 yards to feet. Again, I'm going to a smaller unit, so I'm going to need a bigger number, so I'm going to multiply. I'm going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit. Smaller unit needs a bigger number, so I'm going to multiply to get that. Okay, now this is trying to trick you because it's saying it in a funky way. How many times longer is 1 yard than 1 foot? So it's basically just saying 1 yard is 3 feet, which we know from our chart. So 1 yard is going to be 3 times as big as a foot. How many times longer is 1 mile than 1 foot? It is not 3 feet, it is 5,280 feet times. Inch, then a foot, go back to the table, foot, then a yard, go back to the table. So it's just changing it like the multiplication that we're doing. It's saying how many times longer. So what am I multiplying to get to that other unit of measure? Unfortunately, all of these are going from bigger to smaller. So it will be all timed, multiplication on that. Okay, Ramiro sits 5.5 feet from the bookshelf. Michelle sits 64 inches from the bookshelf. Who sits closer to the bookshelf? So we're comparing 5.5 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 feet. So this one's 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. And what's half of 12? Hopefully you remember, 6. Okay, so now I'm going to do 12 times 5. I can even do my area model if I want. 10 and 2, because 12 is the same as 10 plus 2. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 2 is 10. 50 plus 10 is 60. And then I'm going to, so 5 times 12 is 60. Then I'm going to add in my 6. 66 inches. That's how far Ramiro. So Ramiro is at 66 inches. Michelle is at 64 inches. And the question is, who sits closer? So if one person is sitting 66 inches away and one person is sitting 64 inches away, who is sitting closer? You're going to write a complete sentence answer on this line to show whether it's Ramiro or whether it's Michelle who's sitting closer to the bookshelf. Okay, the Costa family hiked a trail that was 2 miles in one direction. How many feet was the hike round trip? So don't get tricked by this one. You're not just going to multiply by 2 because it says a 2 in the problem. If you're going round trip, so you're going all the way out and all the way back, which means that is going to be doubled. Don't get tricked. Double that number when you're solving. Sumi lives 2 miles from school. Valerie lives 10,542 feet from school. Who lives closer to school? Explain your answer. So first you need to remember that 1 mile is 5,280 feet. They're going 2 miles. Oops. 1 mile is 5,280. You might just want to add that again. Let's save you some trouble. Get that answer. Compare that to 10,542 and see who is closer. The lesser number is closer. And it's not asking you for the number that's closer. It's asking you whether it's sue me or whether it's Valerie that's closer to school. So that's the sentence you're going to write on the line. Compare these numbers. Remember, this is sue me. This is Valerie. Who's closer to school once you solve that answer? Okay, Darren is 4 feet 10 inches tall. So you're going to do 4 feet. Brother's 4 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4 feet. I need to convert that to inches, and I know each foot is 12 inches. So you can do repeated addition. Oh, and then there's 10 at the end. Kind of broken off. It's not all the way filled, that last foot. So I'm going to do that and then compare that. How does that compare to 68? I'm going to have to do a subtraction to see who is taller. Okay. Right, a real world problem. A lot of people stop when they get to this, but all you really have to do is choose a problem like we've done up here and change the numbers and change the names. And that's really all you need to do to find another real world problem. If you don't like hiking or you don't want to talk about a bookshelf, you can talk about measuring the length of the playground equipment or something at your house. Measure the distance across your living room, something like that, and then convert it from feet to inches. You can use anything in here that's a word problem and make your own word problem by just changing the numbers. That's all you need to do on number 18. Now, how are yards and feet related? They're both measuring the same thing, which is length. They're measuring different. Yards are bigger than feet. So we're going to do, in order to get to feet, because feet is a smaller unit of measure, we're going to need a bigger number, so we're going to multiply. Okay, hopefully that helps. And I appreciate your attention. I appreciate your hard work, and I will see you soon.